What is so great about AI agents? What is this concept? Can you break it down for our users?
A human being cannot look at data as deeply as a machine can. How can the machine help me be better? That's the right way to look at it.
The future of the biotech companies are going to be looking at doing more with less. And when you think like that, you are naturally going to have to incorporate AI.
Content creation is resource intensive. You need people, you need time, and you need specialized training. But with AI, I think that some of the areas that we've not addressed in life sciences can be addressed.
All right, so in this episode, we're going to be talking all about fighting medical misinformation and obviously how can AI help with that, right? So I have no clue about this topic, but I know somebody who knows a ton about this. He was working at a lot of good biotech companies previously in his career as a global and US head of medical information. And he then started this company called AINGENS. And what they're doing is basically they have an AI platform that helps you with content creation, automation, and basically solving this problem because according to a 2022 Harvard study, approximately 76% of Americans reported seeing health misinformation online, right? So there's obviously a lot of use cases there to solve that problem. So without wasting further time, let's go in and have a chat with Ome Ogbru, founder and CEO of AINGENS. Welcome to the show, Omi.
Thank you, Harsh. I'm really excited to be on your show.
Yeah, so for listeners and viewers who have never heard about you or never heard about AINGENS, what's your elevator pitch about what you're doing?
So, Engines is stands for AI narrative generation and engagement solutions. And our idea really is that we can take this incredible technology called AI and attach it to other tools that are needed in the life sciences workspace to really
Hmm.
accelerate and revolutionize workflows in the life sciences industry. So as a company, we're not just a one solution company, but rather we're looking for
Hmm.
problems that we can solve. And there are many, and that we can
Yep.
use AI to help solve and really change how people work and help them work more efficiently and help them create better outputs as well using this incredible technology.
Hmm. So walk me through, you started this company about a year ago. I'm not sure exactly the date, but before that you were working in the industry in, different roles. So I'm sure you've had this idea months or weeks or years before you started the company. What was that journey like? What was going on? Like, what were you researching to finally take that step and say, okay, you know what, now I'm going to go start my own venture?
Yeah, so for all my 20 plus years in life sciences, we had many challenges,
Mm,
and the technology just wasn't there to help us solve those problems. So for years, I've looked into machine learning and natural language processing to help with analytics, for instance, and to
yep.
get those crucial insights out of the information that we receive from customers. But the technology just was not at the right spot to be able to do that.
Hmm.
And the pain point of creating content, it's a big one because we do it every day. No matter how good your research is, translating that into information that people can actually use, digest, and use to treat their patients and adopt therapies is very crucial. It takes time, it takes expertise. It's painful. It's complicated with all the regulations that you have
Hmm.
to go through in life sciences. So as the minute I saw AI, I'm like, wait a minute. I think this is what I've been looking for all these years. This is the solution that can actually help us solve
Yep.
a lot of the challenges that we have. And if you look at it as well, Content creation is resource intensive.
Hmm.
You need people, you need time, and you need specialized training to be able to do it. So, but with AI, I think that some of the areas that we've not addressed in life sciences can be addressed. We can create personalized content and targeted
Hmm.
content now. So there's really many possibilities that this technology allows us to be able to do. So when I was at my last company, we had a downsizing and my
Hmm.
role was impacted. And as I looked at, okay, what do I want to do next and what really makes me happy and engaged? It turned out that what that is really to build my own company.
Hmm.
And so I have a natural affinity for technology. I have a natural affinity to solve problems. So I'm naturally entrepreneurial.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I thought, well, I don't have to wait till retirement. Maybe this is the right time to,
Yeah.
to really launch my own venture. So that's how it came about. All the problems that I've been facing while in life sciences and my colleagues as well.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
now we have a solution. And now how do we take that solution and make it fit for purpose to solve these problems? And that's how engines came about.
Yeah, no, that's a really fascinating story, and I have actually had this debate with. I want to touch on a couple of things that you said there, right? First, I felt the same way. Being in life sciences, in quality assurance, systems validation, doing software audits, infrastructure, qualification. So I was doing a lot of the regulatory uh, landscape of how to implement technologies in life sciences in different departments, clean ops, manufacturing, supply chain, all types of systems, right? So when SaaS systems, cloud systems came around, everybody was pushing the narrative, oh, you don't need manual documents because here's a cloud system, it's cheaper, you can collaborate, look at these reports, like it will do most of the validation, you just have to use the system. So that was a big narrative that, and a lot of the systems, the cloud systems, came into all of these different functional areas. And then now you see AI. With AI, there's this narrative that, oh, it's going to automate everything. But like, you cannot automate a bad process or a bad data set, right? Because it's not what you want to automate, right? So that's one point I want to get into. And the other one, which you said, is you said something really interesting, which is that found you think that you are naturally entrepreneurial. And this is a debate I've had with a lot of people, some close friends of mine who are like in real estate and e-commerce, and they're like, oh yeah, I've been like doing stuff since 10 and 11. I know some of these things. So that's a debate I've had with many people. Can anyone be an entrepreneur, or can you be a born entrepreneur? So like, maybe I can talk about that if we have time towards the end, but I want to go into this AI thing. Do you agree that automation is like this push, but there's a lot of other things that we're missing about AI? And what are those things that we should be looking at for a holistic view of what this technology can do for us?
So that's a good point that you
Yeah.
that you make, and automation is definitely part of it. But there's more to it than just that. It's not really that you just automate processes. It's really
Mm,
that the AI helps you with the time consuming aspects of
mm,
certain workflows, and you have to identify what those aspects are. In content writing, well, anyone who's written content in a scientific sphere understand that well. I have to search for literature,
yep.
and that could take days, hours, definitely, depending on what you're looking for. And then now I have to find the right information and read it, digest it. And then I
Mm,
have to write my content. That is also painful as well. And through the content writing process, I have to now, well, put my citations in there. That is painful. I've
mm,
always hated doing that as well, all the different
yep.
types of citation formats. That's painful. I have to edit my content also and also share it with other collaborators as well so
Mm,
that they can, provide me feedback. So when you look throughout the whole workflow for content creation, you can see opportunities where AI can help. It's not
Interesting.
really just automating it, it's really having that human in the loop that can
Hmm.
tell AI, this is what I want, and this is what I want you to use to help me create that. Or this is what I'm searching for, and this is where I want you to search for it. And then I will look through that information, pick
Yep.
what works best for what I want to do, and then give the AI the instructions of
Hmm.
what to create. One
Yeah.
common misconception is that all you need is ChatGPT
Hmm.
or any large language model, and it will revolutionize your content creation workflow. And all you have to do is just put in a simple prompt or command, and it will create things exactly the way you want it.
Hmm.
Well, that is not really true. And it's where we all started. I started there as well. I went into ChatGPT, write me a med info letter, and it spat out something that I'm like, oh my God, this is not what I'm looking for. Right. So I'm like,
Yep.
it doesn't work. This technology doesn't work. It's not solved my problem. But in reality, I needed to learn how to use the tool
Hmm.
and how it works. And what we really need to really revolutionize content creation in life sciences is fit for purpose tools, right?
Hmm.
So it's the AI plus other components that it uses to create what we really want to create. So that's why we built MACg.
Hmm.
So MACg stands for Medical Affairs Content Generator, and it's
Okay.
purpose built for people in life sciences to create the content that they want to create.
Hmm.
It's a
So,
complete AI medical writing and research assistance. It has an advanced editor. It has PubMed and Word search. It has pre-built scientific prompts, a reference manager, a citation generator,
hmm.
and it has a chart tool as well. And of course, it has Ask MacG, which is our large language model agent,
Hmm.
which uses all these tools to help professionals create what they want to create.
That's interesting. And then you mentioned one thing that was really important there, which is looking at not just, you know, automation as a end all be all solution, but looking at the entire workflow and also understanding that, every company's workflow for doing the same stuff could be different, right? So like if you look at, for example, cell and gene therapy, the manufacturing and supply chain workflow for a cell and gene therapy company is a little bit more risky, more different, because you're dealing with personalized product medicine and compared to a generic pharmaceutical company or a medical device company, right? So like it's still manufacturing and supply chain, but you have to like understand, like it's like thinking from first principles, right? Like yes, you want to build a car, but you need to understand what goes into building a car, and then how can you sort of understand those each components and say, okay, this component cost a lot and it's increasing the value of my car. Can I substitute this or can I do something else, right? So like it's very interesting that you said that, because a lot of people are not doing that. They're just looking for instant solution and just like plugging AI, and they don't want to do that work of understanding their process or how their data is going through that process. And that's why, the adoption is a bit slower. And I think that's the right way to do it. So I'm glad you mentioned that. I wanted to ask you about MacG. So what are the first few customers that you worked with? What were the good use cases that people were using this product for?
Yeah, so we have thousands of subscribers now because it
Hmm.
has a web subscription option
Yep.
as well as an enterprise version as well for companies who want it more customized to
Hmm.
their customer and workflows and in their own IT environment. And what we're seeing that people are really gravitating to the PubMed search. So
PubMed search. Okay.
because it really what took hours can take seconds or
Hmm.
minutes in order for you to find what you're looking for. We also see that people really like the editor as well,
Hmm.
because within the same platform, you can interact with the AI and with a full editor to really shape and craft your content with the assistance of the AI as well. We also see that people are using it to create all kinds of things. But one of the most common thing that they do is to summarize scientific literature. So they find the
Hmm.
publication that they want, and then they use the AI to summarize that information because that's the basis of any content that you want to create. And by
Right. Right.
summarizing multiple of these articles, you can use AI to now stitch it together into the type of content
Hmm.
that you want to create.
Interesting. And also another thing is that when again, I don't work in this field, but I'm just thinking of the use case that you explained and how somebody would be going through that ideation or content creation. You also mentioned earlier on that in the past, before AI, you would have to list all the citations, you would have to list the references, you would have to look up what that researcher who study or reading, what other work have they done, like do they have authority on that topic that they're talking about to like give credibility to their research or results, right? So that's where the question comes about fact checking. How do we know that AI is giving you the right stuff, right? So that's where the human in the loop comes into play. So have you seen when you were earlier days when you were building the MVP or stabilizing the product, did you have to train the AI to fact check before it just starts giving out uh, responses? So or did the users have to accept that as like something that AI is still not good at and they need to do that on their own?
That's a very good question. And so the because of the earlier days of ChatGPT
Hmm.
and people having to use the training knowledge or repository of knowledge in ChatGPT, which often caused hallucinations, people
Hmm.
still sometimes believe that AI is not very good.
Yep.
Well, the truth is AI is actually very, very good, but
Hmm.
under the right circumstances. And those circumstances is pointing it to the right source of knowledge. So,
Hmm.
for instance, instead of trying to use the model's own knowledge to create scientific content, you go to a PubMed, for instance, and you use that as your source of knowledge. You upload a PDF or any other type of content, and you use that as a source to create the knowledge. Or use your curated websites or web pages that you already know are authoritative and are correct.
Hmm.
And you tell the AI to use that information to create the content that you want. Under those circumstances, AI is actually very good,
Yep.
and the hallucination rates are way lower.
Hmm.
And then, of course, you need human in the loop to review that. And so I think this also touches on a popular misconception, which is all right, I just tell it, create a document for me, and it just creates it. It
Yeah.
takes iteration and conversation,
Hmm.
right? So you put in a prompt, it creates something, you look for it, it's not 100% there. And then you
Yep.
tell it, add this, remove that. Why not consider this instead? Or maybe I want to change the tone.
Hmm.
With those iterations, you can get to something that's 80 to 100% of
Yep.
what you want. But you have to be patient and have that conversation with the AI. And when you get used to this, it's actually a lot of fun, right?
Hmm.
Because you have this back and forth communication with a machine like you would have with a colleague, actually, if you were coaching them to do something or create something. And the end result is actually better than either one alone.
Hmm.
And I think if we get into that a little bit later, we'll talk about that some more.
Yeah.
So, really, we built MACg so that people are able to easily bring their own knowledge into the database
Hmm.
so that the AI can use that to create what they want to create. And when it comes to citations, it's automatic. As you
Yeah.
create your content, it automatically adds the citations in the format that
Hmm.
you
Okay.
want.
Okay, yeah. So it's not like, Chat GPT where you have to sort of be very clear that you want it to do the search and list the references here. Because it's scientific content, it automatically gives you the output with the references of how it got the output, is what you're saying.
Exactly. It's
Okay. All
automatically
right.
there. It's an AMA format, and pretty
Hmm.
soon we'll be adding APA and MLA formats. and you can
Great.
easily switch between those two formats as well. And because it's a full citation generator, you can even manually add citations as well, and add them in
Okay.
text also very seamlessly, and it'll create your bibliography for you also.
Hmm. Yeah, it's interesting because I some of the work that we do with companies on computer systems or infrastructure or analytic tools, we've also explored using AI, and I want to hear your take on this because I always get this argument, and the argument is if I take data from any existing cloud systems and hook it to a AI data extraction or analysis engine, which is the type of stuff that I do on a use case by use case basis, right? So we're not a software company, we're a consulting company at Cultivate, and we understand these use cases and say, okay, in the marketplace of AI tools for life sciences, there is this product that could solve your problem, and then we do the documentation and validation if needed for the client to implement that tool. And most of the times the clients will ask us, oh, what's the accuracy, right? So like we've got some tools that are 93, 95, 97ish is the max that we've scratched, right? And this argument is, well, it's not good. If 97% is not good, I would rather have a human. But like my counter argument is you have FDA violations and data integrity violations that say that your humans are not trained on your SOPs and that you have tons of deviation with the root cause human error when you haven't really looked at the real root cause, right? Like I could go on and on. The point I'm trying to make is a human being who hasn't had enough coffee or tea could also slip up, right? So I feel like it's unfair to what do you feel like? Is it unfair to use that argument against AI to say, oh, I can't use it because it's not 100% and we're life sciences, so we need everything to be perfect?
You're absolutely right. So, as human beings, we believe that we're the best at
Mm-hmm.
everything, and a machine cannot be better than us. I don't think that's the right way to look at it. The right way to look at it is how can the machine help me be better?
Mm.
That's the right way to look at it. And that's what AI is for. And that's why you need human in the loop. So the
Yep.
combination of human plus machine, the machine helps us in bridging some of the mistakes that we may make,
Mm.
especially when it comes to looking at data. Because a human being cannot look at data as deeply as a machine can or as quickly when you're looking at
Yep.
large data sets. So if we use the machine to do the first pass,
Mm-hmm.
give us its output, and then we review that output to see what's missing, most likely, and I think there's enough data out there that shows it already, because if you look at, the healthcare space, for instance,
Yep.
where there are now studies that show that AI is actually more accurate than physicians in
Mm-hmm.
certain things. But when you put both together, it's actually much better than
Yep.
either one alone. I think that's the right approach. But we wanted, and I have seen this, right? People have told me, oh, it did not write it exactly the way I want to write it. So, it's useless. It can't help me.
Yeah.
And I have to bring them back to, well, you can't expect it to know exactly what you know. It's not
Mm.
you, right?
Right.
But if you work with it and give it the right direction and the right information, it can help you with those time consuming steps of what you need to do. And then your job is now to fine tune it and shape it
Mm-hmm.
so it's exactly what you want it to be. So if it gets you to 90%, then you only have 10% to do to get to 100% versus you
Mm.
doing 100% all by yourself.
Right, right. No, that's actually. I'm glad you ended your statement with that phrase because I read that somewhere. It was probably like a book or something on entrepreneurs and like delegating and using tools and virtual assistants and all of that. And there was a phrase in there which is like 80% done by somebody else is better than 100% done by you, right? Because your time is limited. And we're seeing this with a lot of companies and the way companies are operating. You mentioned early on on in this episode that you ventured into this journey because of downsizing in your previous company, right? So like, how did that downsizing occur? Because we're seeing a lot of downsizing for various reasons. Like if your drug didn't pass the regulatory milestone, you lost funding, what have you, right? But I feel like the future of the biotech companies are going to be looking at doing more with less, right? In the grand scheme of things. And when you think like that, you are naturally going to have to incorporate AI. I mean, I don't see how you can do more with less without using AI. So I'm very excited to see the new startups that are going to adopt this way earlier than some of the other companies who are now trying to catch this train. But they also have so much data, so many systems, so many people who they have to prep before they can say, let's get on this train, right? Like, so that's not an easy conversation to have at a size of company that has 5,000, 10,000 employees, but much easier to have if you have 25 or 50 or less than 100 employees.
Oh, one.
Yeah, or one. Yeah. Yeah. So I want to go into a topic that I have been very excited about, but I haven't gone down the rabbit hole because I just don't have the time. And it is AI agents. So what is so great about AI agents? What is this concept? Can you break it down for our users who haven't heard this much or not familiar with it?
Yeah, so AI agents or agentic AI is the term that people are using, and it really means that it's an AI platform that can
Hmm.
really help you automate work. So it can reason,
Hmm.
it can work independently, it can complete tasks with little input or no input from the
Hmm.
human at all. Now, when you have that, it now really helps you to really accomplish certain things. And in life sciences, there are many different applications
Hmm.
of how you can use those agents. So let's look at a real world example like safety. For
Hmm.
instance, they spend, well, a lot of money, right? Because usually they hire an agency to do this,
Yep.
finding and analyzing adverse events from the literature or many other sources.
Hmm.
You could build an agent that does that. And it automatically every day can search all these different searches, all these different sources, looking for
Hmm.
adverse events about your product and creating a summary and an analysis of what it finds. And all the
Hmm.
human has to do is now review that to
Yep.
make sure that it's accurate, to make sure that the output is complete. Another use case for that as well is in medical affairs.
Hmm.
Literature surveillance. There's so much literature that comes out about any therapeutic area. You can use an AI to actually do that search for you automatically and summarize the information, including sentiment analysis and even recommendations, and use that to create whatever content you want to create or educate yourself about what's happening in your therapeutic area. So
Yep.
there are many, many uses for
Hmm.
AI agents. Now, what's interesting is that in MACg, we actually have an agent in MACg.
Okay.
It's not automated,
Hmm.
but it's that agent is what actually calls on all the other tools,
Hmm.
like the
Hmm.
citation generator, the PubMed search, and all the other tools that we have inside MACg. And it does that automatically based on the work that we want it to do, the instructions that we want to give it. So it now knows, okay, I need to search PubMed. So it calls on PubMed and it uses that tool to
Hmm.
do what it needs to do. And it knows that, oh, well, I need to add citations to this. It calls on the citation generator and all that is generated for you. So, but
Hmm.
the next step is using it as an autonomous agent, and that is coming down the road. So, as the large
Hmm.
language models improve, we will also build in automated features into MacG as well. So, we're close.
Yep. And another, those are some really great examples. Another one that I am really excited about hearing what when I hear about AI agents is monitoring, regulations and guidances for different worldwide authorities, right? So like it could be for a specific therapeutic area, or it could be for a specific technology. Like, okay, if you want to understand what the FDA is putting out about AI, or what is EU putting out about AI, did they put a guidance document, or did they launch some act, or are they having some industry discussions? I know a lot of this can be done by other methods like Google Alerts, or like subscribing to different, feeds and all that stuff. But to be true, those are not truly autonomous, right? Like you still have to put in the effort, and at least they're not reasoning to a level that it sounds like an AI agent would be able to reason. So yeah, that's another example that I'm really excited about, especially in my field of work, which is heavy around studying the regulations and what impact does it have on a client to apply those regs.
You're absolutely right. And and what's different about using AI, it's not only going to search for the information, it can
Hmm.
also categorize it for you, it can analyze it for you, it can summarize
Yep.
it for you, it can even suggest actions for you as
Right.
well,
Right.
and
And
help
that's
you
the
with
part.
those actions.
Right. And that's the part that's lacking in a Google Alerts or other feeds, right? Because those, stuff like Google Alerts or these other news feeds, they're just opening the fire hose to say, here you go. You wanted the information, right? Here you go. Go knock yourself out, right? But that's exactly where the agent comes in, because the agent can say, hold on, you've got like 300 links. You're not No one in the right state of mind is going to click through all those 300 links and figure out, let me do that heavy lifting for you. Oh, now these are the five that you should really look at, right? So yeah. Yeah, it's been great learning about your product and MACg and what you're doing. I want to put you on a spot for 1 second, if that if that's okay.
Sure.
You've talked a lot about AI, and especially how it can be used in the scientific research, content creation area. When you are working today on making the product better, or gathering other use cases from your customers and users and taking that into account, what is one prediction that you have about AI that you think might happen in the next 10 years, but you're not seeing it yet?
Well, 10 years is a long time.
Five,
Uh,
whatever. Yeah.
and people say, the next 2 years we're going to have generalized artificial intelligence. Well, I don't know about that
I
yet, but
Same here. Yeah. I don't think that's I would be scared if that happened, but I don't think that's happening, but maybe I'm
but
wrong.
I think where we can move incrementally, right,
Hmm.
is bigger adoption
Yeah.
of AI. So a lot of companies now in the life sciences space are moving from that curiosity
Hmm.
to experimentation. And some are now at the point where they're like, okay, we understand what we want to do. We understand what problems we want to solve. Let's now, build a tool or buy a tool that can help us solve those problems.
Hmm.
So, and those companies come to a company like mine. How can you
Yep.
help us solve this problem? So I think in the years to come, we will have more adoption. And I think our perception and attitude toward AI will change as well. Because now you still hear a lot of discussion about, does can AI really help me? Does it really work? It has hallucinations, there's risk. But I think as time moves on, it will become the fabric of how we work.
Hmm.
So people will be reaching to AI first before they do anything. And if you're not using AI, people are going to wonder why. AI will become a
Hmm.
best practice.
Right.
Right?
Right.
And now with that, with it being a best practice in the content creation space, one of the ways that AI can really make a big impact is the development of automatic, targeted, personalized content
Hmm.
for patients and healthcare providers. And I think in the years to come, that's where we're going to be. I don't think that the current approach of I have to go search Google to find information
Yep.
and then, assimilate and digest all that information by myself manually. Or I
Hmm.
have to call a pharmaceutical company to get information. That process is long, it's painful. I think where we need to be, and it's possible, we're not that far off really,
Yep.
is anyone who needs to learn about anything with AI can get that information.
Right. And the reason why I like this future that you've painted is because as human beings, we find, more joy and purpose in fulfilling our curiosity, or, you know when we think about something like, oh, maybe I should improve this process, or maybe is there a better way to write this research article than what I'm doing. We're not designed to do manual work, right? We don't like doing it. A lot of the nature of our jobs has that component in it. But even like today, being in, let's say I'm in quality or in regulatory, I'm reviewing documents on my computer and I'm making comments. Oh, this doesn't align with this regulation. Do I love doing that? Yes. I mean, it's my job, so I'm doing it. But would I be opposed to using AI tools that are going to do that for me and tell me, hey, I scanned this document. Here's the 7 areas that are highlighted in yellow that I think don't align with XYZ regulations. You need to comment on those, right? So instead of me reading the whole article. So I feel like it's going to make us more, it's going to make us like our jobs a lot more, because it's going to take out all of this manual work that we don't like doing. We're not designed for doing that. And it's going to bring this fun element of, let's go experiment, find a low risk use case, see what breaks. Then, if it works, go to a medium risk use case. Then, if it works, go to a high risk, right? And then go through that workflow, because every week you're testing something new and you never get bored with your job. So I feel like that's what the promise is, for people, those who want to adopt this path.
One good point that you make is making your work fun.
Hmm, hmm.
And that is honestly, every time I use AI, I'm happy.
Yes.
And
Yes.
it brings a smile to my face, right?
Yep.
Because it's now something that could have taken me 3 hours is now taking me 10, 15 minutes
Yep.
to achieve. And now I can go do something else, right?
Yeah.
And I can just imagine that if I was still in medical information, just
Hmm.
how much I could have accomplished
Yep. Yep.
having a tool like this. And I
Mm.
think, and I don't hear enough about it, but I
Hmm.
think AI really improves job satisfaction, right? Because
Yeah.
if you take that grunt work out of it, and content creation is grunt work, your fingers are typing, your fingers get tired.
Yep.
It's a long process, and if AI can, make that more enjoyable and more seamless, I think people will be happier with the
Hmm.
things that they do, and then they can even focus on more strategic things, which really helps the company.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I think that's one of the main ideas that I'm excited about in this industry is, just because a lot of our roles, I talk to people even outside quality in different functions, and some of the stuff that we're still doing is just like so outdated. And I find it hard to believe, like, why aren't we adopting more tools that are out there? Yes, I understand there's, we can't adopt tools like a e-commerce or a retail company because we're in life sciences and there's patient and data integrity and all this other stuff that we need to check. But I still feel like, we could do a lot more, right? And I'm excited about companies like Engines who are, and you, who are coming out here and painting this picture and helping people realize that, hey, there is other stuff out there that you can be more creative and get some of that joy back in your job. So like you're coming every week and you're experimenting on something new rather than coming in and doing something that you've done 8 times before and you're just trying to get it done, right? So I want to thank you so much for coming on here today and sharing everything about what you're doing, how you started your journey, and insights on this topic about using AI for all the different use cases that you talked about and the product that your team is working on. For somebody that has watched this episode, listened to this episode, and it's evaluating their current stance on either using AI in a different way than they have been using, or they're not using AI, and maybe this is a podcast that they feel like, okay, I should really look into this. What's a big takeaway that you want to leave the audience with before we drop off?
Yeah, I think the first thing is just do it.
Hmm.
Just try it. There are low risk options out there that, you don't have to expend a lot of resources. You can start by using free tools just to
Hmm.
see how they work. You can try MACg. You do not
Yep.
have to go through an implementation process. You can simply just subscribe online and try it out and use it and test it and see if it works for your workflows. And when it does, you can really understand, okay, what else do I need in addition to this
Hmm.
to really do what I want to accomplish in my organization? I think the bigger risk is not trying. There's really no
Hmm.
downside to trying. And because without
Yep.
trying, you don't really understand what it can do and what problems it can help you solve. And then I think the second thing is really people should educate themselves. There's a lot of noise out there and there's a lot of misinformation about AI. So understanding what AI can do and cannot
Hmm.
do really will help people see how they can adopt it. And then the other thing is it's not going to solve everything for you. It's not
Yep.
meant to replace you. It's really for you to be able to work with it to accomplish what you want to accomplish and do it more,
Hmm.
more efficiently. And then when you're ready to embark on that journey, understand what problems you want to solve.
Hmm.
So, and make sure that the problem you want to solve, you can measure the outcomes, right? Because you want
Yep.
to get your ROI. Make sure it's something that you can measure. So, don't set an objective of, I want to reduce my team size,
Hmm. Hmm.
right, by 50%. That's not the right way to go into this, but rather look at something like, well, it's taken us 5 days to create a certain piece of content. Can we reduce that to a day?
Hmm.
Can we reduce that to a few hours? And would the quality be the same or even better than the way
Yep.
we were doing it before? This is measurable. It's a tangible output.
Hmm.
So start with those types of use cases. Prove
Yep.
that it works in those use cases, and then you can expand out. And very importantly, just because you build it doesn't mean that your teams want to use it.
Hmm.
So there's significant change management that has to take place in the organization because you're
Yeah.
changing the way people work, the way people think, and you're teaching them something new, and they need time to be able to learn that, adapt to that, accept that it works. So you have to build that into your planning as well. And of course, train them,
Hmm.
give them the training that they need, give them the bandwidth to experiment and discover on their own. So all
Yeah.
those change management principles are very, very, very important because
Absolutely.
what you don't want is to spend a lot of resources and then people don't use it because they're
Hmm.
afraid of
Hmm.
it, don't understand it. They're thinking about, well, is this going to replace me? So you have to think about all those things before you
Yep.
expend a lot of capital in
Yeah.
AI.
No, those are some amazing points. I think the big ones for me are, uh, you know, don't be afraid of trying. It's not that you know just because you're trying something, that's your new reality, right? You can try it. It's like you going to a restaurant you've never eaten. You know, all you do is you like eating, let's say, chicken or turkey. You've never tried fish, but you go to this amazing restaurant, by the ocean, and everybody in town is talking about how great the salmon is, and you just give it a try. Now you have one extra protein that you can add to your diet, right? Like, so I feel like we, as humans, we are sometimes afraid of change because of what it might do to our day-to-day routine, because we like consistency, we like predictability, we want to know what's happening next in our life, right? And or we want to know what to expect in our job. But I feel like that's sometimes that can stop you from growing. That's my perspective there. So I feel like be open to trying it. That's a big takeaway. And the other one is on the training side, as you mentioned, understand what it can do and what it cannot do, because you going in and trying to use it to do something it cannot do and then blaming it that it doesn't do, that's on you, right? Like, it's, again, I give this example, these random examples. You go somewhere, and if you don't, like, let's say you go to, I don't know, let's say you go to get a haircut, right? And you don't tell your hairstylist what kind of haircut you want, they're not going to know. They can't read your mind. You need to tell them, hey, I need a haircut because I want to look professional, or hey, I'm going to a sporting event, I need something with my team's logo, and then I'm gonna buzz my head, like the hair off, so like it looks perfect. Like, you have to give them your requirements, because otherwise they're not going to know. And I feel like that's the same thing you want to approach AI with, is just what understanding what it can and cannot do. Otherwise, like you said, we're just going to end up wasting resources and then not expect the outcome that we want from it. So those are really great. And I will also add the links for MACg in the show notes of the episode. So anybody who is listening to this, if you guys want to give it a shot, we'll put those links in the show notes. And then where can people reach out to you if they have more questions about the product, or they want to talk about some potential use cases of whether it can do those or not?
Yeah, so you can go to our website, engens.com. So
Hmm.
AINGENS.com. You can also from there access MACG as well, and you can learn all about it. The URL for MACG is aingens.com/MACG. You
Hmm.
can also connect with me on LinkedIn as well. And either through our website or directly, you can send an email to my
Yep.
team at support@engens.com, and we'll be able to support you with your
And
needs.
is your team is mainly in US, or are they like in Europe and other parts of the
We're
world?
global. We're
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 global.
global.
Okay. Okay. All right. Yeah, it's been great, Omi. Thanks for coming on to the show and being so open and sharing everything that you're doing. I'm very excited about this field, and I'm rooting for you and your team and the product to see how it evolves and what more it can do. So I'll be following you guys and looking at all your company developments and everything you're doing. So wishing
Thank
you the
you.
best
Thank you,
there.
Harsh. It's been a pleasure having this conversation.